All right. Good morning, Mary. Thank
Good
you for
morning.
your time today.
Sure.
So, since we talked last, we went through our conversation about the time that I had observed you, and you and I have also been chatting just about what's going on in your classroom in general, which I greatly appreciate. So, after thinking back to our previous conversations, reflecting on how things are going in your classroom this year, what area do you think you would like to work on for growth for your students and for you as an IPDP this year?
One of the things that I noticed that we do a lot of in science is group work. And based on my personal experience, group work is sometimes a very unfair thing. So in trying to make it a more level playing field for the kids, I'm allowing them to grade each other on their group participation, their focus. Are they being kind? Are they interacting? Are they doing their part? But then the other day I realized that I'm not sure that we ever really talked about the expectation, and not just the expectation, but how do you do that? Because these are still kids, and they might think that they're participating because they're there. And that's not participating. That's just simply, like an involuntary, like you're breathing. Well, it's something you don't control. You just do it. So I've been thinking a little bit about how to teach these kids how to be a good teammate, how to meet all those expectations. I've already done one group project where they graded themselves, and I was afraid that I would see a lot of kids just giving each other high marks just to be friends. Oh no, they were brutally honest.
They were.
And
okay.
Which I applaud them for that. But some of the kids that scored the lowest,
Picture retakes. Last call for
one of the
picture
kids
retakes from the auditorium.
that scored the lowest, he was the only one in his entire class that actually got the question right, but he scored the lowest in group work because he was so frustrated because the kids wouldn't listen to him when he made his point, and so he started kind of being the jerk of the group because he was so frustrated. And I saw a lot of that where kids were like, I don't agree. And, I would tell them, well, you can debate this, you can make your point, but majority is going to rule. But I don't know that we've ever really sat down and discussed what that looks like and what that means, and that it doesn't mean that you're not being heard. It just means that people don't agree with you, and that's okay. So...
All right, so you want to help kids increase their engagement in school.
Yeah.
Hi, Deidre, do you need me?
Really fast.
Yeah.
I just wrote it on a sticky note.
Okay, thank you.
He is so low. I do his letters and sounds. We talked about that, but doesn't he have to be on some type of...
Yes, I can check into like what is required for his. And I'll
just
get back to
kind
you.
of look on that because he's not ready for sight words. He's not ready for fluency.
Right.
So
I think letter sounds should cover it.
Okay.
I'll double check on that and get back to you, but I think letter sounds covers it.
Trudy if she was doing anything, but she's
Okay.
got James covered.
Okay.
This one, he's hard to understand, so I better take it.
Okay. Sounds
you.
good. I'll get back to you. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
Oh, that's fine.
So it sounds like you want to help your kids be more engaged by being good partners, being a productive member of that group work, and being kind to each other, and just kind of the work skills of their own and with each other.
Well, yeah, and I think mostly what I see is I want them to understand that just because your answer isn't chosen, I want them to feel like they're being heard, but also understanding that just because you make a good argument doesn't mean everyone's going to agree with you, and even if they don't, it's okay. Because what I told them for this last assignment is I want to see that you've done the work and that you can support your claim. Not that you're right or wrong necessarily, but did you do the work? But I know for some kids that's very, very frustrating. And, I mean, based on my own experience, group work is just not my favorite, but it's something that we have to do. We do it a lot in science. We do some in social studies and things like that, but they're going to have situations like this through their whole life, so they are going to need to learn how to handle not getting your way, basically.
Right. All right. Well, this sounds like a great goal that we can work with. Will anyone else be involved in your IPDP, like other fifth grade teachers? And if you don't know yet, that's okay.
I don't know yet.
We can talk to them.
You and you know,
definitely me.
Probably, you know, honestly, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much group work they do, you know, in math. I mean, playing a game is one thing because it has specific rules. I know they do that in math, but that's kind of cut and dry. I don't know what they do in literacy in terms of, you know, group work and things like that. So, you know, I will check, but it may just be a science thing.
Yep. And that's okay. Either way, we cannot, when we have our grade level meeting, we can ask. That's probably a topic we'll talk about this week, is what everyone's thinking about for their IPDP. So, okay, so we've got a nice specific goal. You want to teach cooperative learning so kids' voices are heard and so they have engagement.
Yes.
And we're going to talk with the other fifth grade teachers. They may or may not be doing the same thing, and either way, that's okay. And what data might you use to monitor how this goal goes?
Well, I mean, I'll be observing how they are in group, but I will also have their group grades. You know, the only thing is I trade groups out for each assignment, group assignment. And, you know, so it may just be a different mix of kids causes it to be different. So, I mean, I will have those numbers out there to use, but again, we'll have to really factor in that, you know, it could be the mix of kids, it could be the difficulty of the topic, it could be a lot of different things, but, you know, are these kids learning to, you know, learning that they're not always going to get their way? Are they learning how to talk with their group and make their points? You know, things like that.
Wonderful. So observation, definitely working with the kids, and the rubrics that the kids fill out with. They have their own self-assessment, right?
Yeah.
Plus,
so they usually work in groups of 4, and there is a place on there for them to assess themselves as well as everyone else.
All right. So it sounds like you have some baseline data because you've done this once. What ways or how much do you see the kids growing between now and maybe December or May?
Well, I mean, there's going to be multiple opportunities for them to work on this. You know, before each assignment, you know, I talk to them about, you know, what the expectation is, what it means to be a teammate. But I would maybe like to give them some opportunities to put something like that in play, that where it's not graded, but where they have to learn some of the skills to do it. And that part is not clear to me right now. In terms of growth, again, you know, if you get the right mix of kids together, it's gonna work. But if you just get kind of a toxic mix, no matter how good each individual person is, they may really struggle as a group. So I guess, you know, giving them the skills, helping them to put them in place, and then just observing and realizing that sometimes it's going to be great and other times maybe not. And that's not necessarily the fact that they don't have the skills, it's just the fact that this is just not a great mix. But I also think that's part of the learning is,
yes,
I draw sticks to put them in groups because they're going to have to learn to work with everybody. So, if it's a truly, truly horrible idea, I will move them. But otherwise, it's like the sticks have spoken, and ta-da!
I love
you
it.
get what you get. So
Yeah, well, and that's real life.
yeah.
That is really life. So the mix of the kids will matter, and I think the skills that you're teaching will matter. And it sounds like that's something we might want to work on together this year, is thinking about how to teach that, which is great. There's the IPDP is growing professionally on how to teach group skills. So how do you think this goal will affect you professionally as a teacher?
Well, I mean, it will show me, where I need to work a little harder on, because, there are some skills that you can teach and teach and teach 100 times, and they're still going to need that. And there are other things that, they're just going to pick up on and, oh, okay. And it'll probably let me know that maybe there are some things that just are too, I don't want to say too challenging for group work, but maybe it will show me ways to maybe reimagine how I do certain lessons, because it just doesn't seem to work out that way. And it'll be kind of interesting to see, if I'm teaching this stuff all through, and then at the end, or maybe intermittently say, we're not going to grade each other on this one, and see, are they going to be able to carry those skills through, even though they're not being graded. So
that's interesting. And what I really admire about everything you just said is never once did you say, we might do it 100 times, but they still don't get it. It's, we might do it 100 times, and then what do we need to try differently if they're not quite there? That's really neat. Well, kudos to you for that.
That's probably because I know I'll have them again next year. So I know if I don't fix it this year, I will have next year to do it again. So, yeah.
You've kind of already answered this, but how will this goal affect your students' learning?
Well, it will. I'm hoping that it will teach them that you don't always get your way. You have to work with people that you might not choose to be with in any other situation. And I want them to realize that they have the power to get it done. They have the capability to do what they need to do and get the good grade, both on their paper and from their peers. Because, the work itself, that's the easy part. It's the other part that they need to figure out. And, I want them to realize this is a lifelong skill. It's not something that is just in here. You can take this with you wherever, whenever. And, if you have a brother or a sister, just realizing how to deal with them. And if you don't get your way, it's okay. There's other times when maybe you will get your way. But and I also think this is going to help them possibly in literacy, because I'm saying make your claim. If people don't support that, then you support it. You argue or defend your point to them. And that is a big thing for me, is claim and support, use your evidence. And I know that's something that, we do a lot of writing in my classes. There's writing in literacy, and that is a skill they're always going to need, is make your claim, support it with evidence. And so, as many opportunities as I can find in order to, you know, let them use those things and show that, then that's going to be a good thing for them.
I agree. Yeah. Really all topics, like you said, language arts, in math. I know Mrs. Brown has them do things like, what do you think the answer is? Well, why? Support your reasoning, support your strategy. This will be great cross-curricular. So that's wonderful. So we have 3 building goals in our building right now. The first one, 82% proficiency on math and language. The second one, teacher ownership in the MTSS process. And the third one is creating a climate and culture where all kids can learn and have their needs met. Of those 3 goals, which one do you think aligns best with your IPDP?
I would say the third one about creating a, I don't know what you said, creating a culture where all kids feel that they can learn or something like that.
Yeah, we're here for every kid every day. All right. And how about the Iowa teaching standards? Which Iowa teaching standard do you feel matches up the best? Or it doesn't have to be just one, it can be a couple.
Well, I guess this would go along with standard 4, using strategies to deliver instruction that meets the multiple learning needs of students. I think that one could be good. You know, part of that, I guess, would be a little bit of classroom management. You know, don't want fights to break out and things like that, and screaming. Let's see. I think that's it. I mean, you know, planning and preparing, you know, yes, I do those things. I mean, a lot of these things are just kind of built into the mix right there. You have to plan, you have to, you know, and all that. But for this, you know, meeting multiple learning needs, I think, is probably the best for this particular thing.
I agree. All right. So you've already gathered some baseline data. When or how often do you think you will have the students use the rubric to self-assess and assess their peers?
Well, so it depends. I mean, right now, this particular science unit, we have a lot of group work. And then, of course, as soon as we're done with this, we move to social studies, and that's not quite so much group work. I'll have to look at it and see. I mean, there are some group situations, but I'm not sure if that will lend itself necessarily to this. It's hard to say, but I would imagine, you know, with each unit I do, they'll probably have at least one opportunity to grade themselves. You know, I know the next, I think it's the next unit is on space, and they do group projects there, and that's a big one, and that's a definite, you know, look at each other as far as grading. But I have to look at my social studies and see if there's anything that we do in there.
Well, and I love what you said about sometimes you want to grade it, sometimes you don't. And I wonder if even they didn't know if it was graded or not. You know, just we're doing group work, and we may or may not grade it. Everybody do your best. Use those skills we've been learning.
And we did that. The first one I graded, and then we did a lab the other day, and we didn't grade that one, just time wise, because the grading, it takes them a long time. It takes me a long time to get through it. You know, so, but I mean, yeah, they'll have plenty of opportunities for graded group assessment type things.
All right. So next steps for me, how I can support you. We had talked earlier about just working together to find some ways to teach.
Right.
Cooperative working. Okay. So let's quickly write a goal together. So a SMART goal, as we've been talking about, is specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's relevant, and it's timely. Would you agree that your goal meets those things? It's a specific goal. We can measure it.
Yes, I think so, but my only concern would be, the amount of variables that can affect it.
Yep.
And that is going to possibly really change things from time to time, because the one particular student I'm thinking of, he's a good student, and he normally functions, on a very high level. So I was kind of shocked when I saw the group assessment, but then I thought about, what the outcome was there and how frustrated he was, and I thought, I absolutely understand this. But again, next group, I put him with different people where he feels heard and understood. He still may not get his way, but that's going to change it immensely. And then the next group will be different. So that's the only thing that would be hard, is because there are a lot of factors up in the air that can change things. Although, still, once you figure out that you're not always going to get your way, and that there are ways to work through it, that can help. I don't know. It's still definitely measurable. But there are a lot of moving parts there too. So
maybe today we just don't have quite enough information yet to set the measure. But and that's okay, because this is a work in progress. So a SMART goal sounds something like, after learning cooperative learning skills, which we'll be doing with the kids, students in 5th grade will score, I'm going to throw out numbers, like 80% on their group work rubric by the end of the year, or by May of 2026. Does that sound like a reasonable goal? And we can work later on what kind of statistics to put in there.
It does. The only thing that concerns me is, and of course I haven't gone back and looked at it, but if they're already starting at 80%.
Oh, sure.
So
we'll use your one that you've already done as a baseline. And if they're already starting at 80%, wonderful. We could set it for 90. If they started at 10, we could set it for 50. I think we'll use that baseline.
Yeah, I think for the most part, and I don't know. Well, I don't know what it's going to look like, but they can get between 1 and 5, 3 being average, and so maybe 80% of the kids will be at a 3 or above on all 5
I like that,
or something like that. I don't know what it is going to look like. I don't know if that's just going to create a lot of work.
That's something we'll work on together. Because I want to help you with that. That takes time.
It does. The whole thing takes a lot of time. But I also told the kids, first of all, I always tell them, if I'm going to be grading this, I'm expecting you to do work, and you should expect that I'm going to work for you too. That's okay. You get to expect from me.
That's one of the things that makes you such a great teacher.
Well, I don't like the idea of busy work, and they need to know it's important. It's important to you. It's important to me.
Yes.
But this, I think that, I don't know. We'll just have to see how it looks, because everything averages out. And that's where they all might be at 80% now, because it averages out that way. But if you look at the individual scores, if they get 2 2s and 3 5s, then their average is going to be maybe 3.5. But they're still lacking in 2 of those areas. So I think that might be a better, more specific measure, is that all kids would get at least a satisfactory grade on all 5 points, rather than just say 80% across the board, because I'm thinking that they are probably, for the most part, there right now.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I like that, because in a way, then it's a formative assessment too. So as you said, if you have a student repeatedly scoring really low in one category, okay, they need teaching in that area.
Right.
So that's a really neat way to think about that. Thank you, Mary.
Yeah.
What resources might you need?
Well, I mean, I guess I'm probably going to start, with the internet and just seeing what's out there in terms of teaching cooperative learning. What kind of things are out there? What kind of lessons, or what can I pick and choose from?
And we can definitely work on that together.
Yeah.
If you'll have me, I'd enjoy that.
I will always have you. Always.
Well, thank you.
And then looking at what kind of things I already have that I could modify to work for teaching these things. So,
all right. Well, you've got a great goal in place. We can always work on wordsmithing the data later. That's okay. But you've got some baseline data. You've got a goal in place. We're going to work together on getting the materials. You've got a goal with teaching behind it, which is awesome. Do you have any questions or anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up today?
How long do you have to write this paper? Because this is going well. I'm just wondering, because this is going to be more like a long-term goal.
Absolutely.
And
so tonight.
So I just wonder how it's going to affect you.
Yes. Well, thank you. I appreciate you asking that too. I want this to be good for you. So tonight I will rewatch our video, and I'm going to write a paper on this throughout the week. But the continuation of it is just what goes with my job normally as an instructional coach.
Right,
we'll just keep working on it.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be perfect yet today. Today was getting us started.
Okay.
All right. I appreciate your time.
Sure.
Thank you
Not
so
a
much.
problem.